Hello, everybody. Welcome to another cast here on my YouTube channel. This is going to be Best versus Motive here. Best in the top right in the red. Motive here in the... No, excuse me. Best here in the blue. Over here. And Motive actually in the red. So Best off racing in this game. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel. I'll leave a comment and turn the bell notification on. And if you ever want to join me on these casts live, you can do so by joining me on my Twitch channel at Tasteless TV. So, this has been one of the more interesting things to follow, at least for me personally with these casts that I do, is the fact that many pros are so good with their off race and can show such crazy stuff. It's fascinating. Sulky is a perfect example. I've seen him both as Protoss and TERRAN beat some of the very best, highest ranked players in the world. So this is going to be an interesting one to see how Motive sizes up here versus Best. So Best immediately starts us off with a depot down here. This is to squeeze the SCV that's going to come out just to the right, so it's that much closer to the minerals, you can see, giving you maybe a fraction of a second. Oh, where do these games come? Chat asks. We farm them using a website called cwal.gg, and that uses the Battle.net API to track all the games, and it harvests the replays there. And then, yeah, I mean, you can go through the player IDs and take them from there. So it's a great learning tool. Now, Best, this, by the way, PVT. This might be the oldest build that's still solid to this day. Is the Gateway on low ground Zealot pressure. It was very popular in the early days. And now we see it periodically, especially from players like Bisu here. And the idea is that, is that the Gateway functions as part of the wall. Your Zealots get there a little bit quicker. Against certain builds, it's quite strong. And especially if the, like we see right here, like someone who's going to take a command center pretty quickly. So, you know, it could be that Best is off racing. We don't normally see this layout. Command center, barracks, and then depots down here. Normally we would see the barracks placed over here. There are setups where you can also use the depot as part of the wall. But usually the idea is that the Marine is smaller than the Zealot, which is inbound, by the way. This could just end, to be totally honest. Like, if I'm Protoss in this position, I'm very happy. Is he going to go for the SCV making the command center? That's usually the best play, especially if they're going to neglect covering this area. So he gets the kill. 3 Zealot hits plus a few probe hits will kill an SCV. Now, it's important when you've got the Zealot in this position to do what damage you can do, but also to just buy time. This is, right now, 6 SCVs that are just not mining. He gets another one. The second Zealot's here. There's a third inbound, and it looks like the Nexus is going to start momentarily. He does not... Oh, excuse me. He does go into gas tech pretty fast. Really good drill there by Best, actually. I'm kind of stunned. I think that this game could have been almost over had these Zealots gotten those Marines up there. By the way, we don't have a factory just yet. This Zealot's going to be chased out. The Marines are all at full HP, but with another Zealot coming in, he has the opportunity to dive once more. And you can see that Marine kind of ping-ponged around and did get that third Zealot hit connected on here. Whoa! Okay. So he gets the kill. Even the probe actually taking out one more SCV. It's going to run into the main now. And see, okay, there's no factory started. Well, excuse me, it just started. But the point being, you know, Motive is in a pretty damn good position here. So the Dragoon's going to go back. SCV out on the map to scout. And, you know, one Dragoon, if you're not blocking the ramp, this SCV can get in there. One thing I've noticed, by the way, since I'm back to playing again, is that, like, the Dragoon doesn't attack as fast as you would think it would when the first worker comes out. You know, it kind of hesitates. So sometimes it's better to almost have it, like, attack moving. You kind of, just to get that first shot off right away. Anyways, he's going to chase this SCV back over here. Best retreats behind the bunker. 4 Marines inside. And the barracks is going to be lifted. probably to plug up this area here or here, depending. Okay, he's going to put it here. So one of the reasons why you would put a barracks here is that you don't want the Dragoons, if they could, to run by and run into the main. Especially when the factory's late, and there's no tank or anything else like that. Sometimes you'll have these Dragoon run-bys that just become a huge headache. And so he's going to isolate that area now. The second gateway and the Robo are on the way. Range just now finishes. And let's see how Best can play this out. He's going to go for an immediate armory. And, you know, I think that's fine. It means he can't be active for a while. Is he getting siege mode? He is. I think he's almost forced to get siege mode in this moment. One SCV for each Dragoon firing will repair the bunker in time. But, you know, it's minerals lost here. By the way, if you're a kind of new to the game or you don't play a lot, you might look at this and be like, nothing's happening here. You're draining the Terran's resources. SCV is not mining, and then the money spent to repair it. It's tough. By the way, the tank under the barracks, if this is moved just down slightly, it makes it harder to target the tank itself. So he's going to siege up on the ramp. He wants to siege on the ramp in this case because there's chance to miss for the Dragoons. Whereas if he sieges down here, the dive could occur. So this game is... Oh, sorry, he is going to get a Robo here. Excuse me. I was about to say he's just going to do a 3-base expand on 2 gates. You know, when you see players play, not on their main race, like what Motives and Best are both doing here, it's kind of funny to see the little subtleties. Like, things are a little bit out of order. Shuttle speed started before the Reaver. You can see the rhythm's just a little bit off, but that being said, Motive still looks pretty sick. All things considered. So, there's a turret ring set up over here. And, you know, with the Observer being late, I mean, you're always giving up something if you're going for something else in the early game. Is he going to pull this away? Nicely done. He doesn't lose it. So when there's the ring of turrets, you have a real problem. You don't know what they're up to. Is there a command center over here and he's going to try to expand? Is there a starport being made and he's going to try to drop? Are there a lot of factories coming? You just don't know. And so it becomes a very ambiguous game. Now, for Motive, he's going to get the 2 Zealots and the Reaver. He's going to have shuttle speed done. The Nexus is coming along as well. But there's not really anywhere he can go, right? If you have turrets back like this, sometimes you can cover with less, but they can peek into your base and you can drop and hit the turrets. When you have the turrets outside like this, you're just not a lot you're going to be able to do, which is fine. You shouldn't just try to send the shuttle in. Well, hold on a second. What's he actually going to do? We see the shuttles over here now. Is he going to just drop? Okay, so this is a committed shuttle into the main. So we got to watch this carefully because this shuttle can't actually leave. But, you know, when you see the fact that there's no turrets over this area, this can be really abusive. I really like what I'm seeing here.
Fuck this game! Fuck this!
Oh my God, my Artosis sub. It's like perfectly timed out here. By the way, I can't believe what I'm seeing. The shuttle's actually going to get out of here. Thank you for the sub, everybody knows. I think he actually dropped the first Zealot here. Oh my God, I'm getting chills. This was so good. He dropped the first Zealot here, and the combination of this tank siege fire and the Zealot doing damage blew the turret up. He got in, killed workers, and actually got back out. So remember when I was saying just a minute ago that this is committed? This is, you know, a little bit scary because he has to do damage now. He actually got it back out. So that's pretty sick, man. The 4th base has started. I gotta say, you know, Motive looks really good here. But, you know, I guess, what is a matchup a Zerg player would be best at off-race? I would think PvT. The Protoss is kind of like a Zerg, you know, in this matchup. So he's doing a really good job of expanding and growing. Best sends his 2 vultures out. And, you know, if he can get over here and stop probes from mining, so be it. That's pretty good. Do we have any kind of definitive late game tech? I don't think we do. Is he getting Zealot speed, or did he already get it? I think he has not. Oh, he just starts it. Okay. I was going to say, I don't think he would have it yet. So from here, you're going for a contain. You got to be careful with small numbers of Dragoons by themselves versus Vultures because they can be surrounded and blown up with Vulture Spider Mine. But when you have Reavers here, you can actually really control this position. Now, I think Best smartly sets up a location to try to intercept the probes that will be transferred, I think. It's kind of funny. You can really see, like, some players, especially when it gets further along, they don't quite have that rhythm in off-race matchups. So he should have sent workers out. Maybe he knows that there's the threat of Vultures on the map, so it's better to wait. And this is going to be a very late third command center. This is actually one of the ways Artosis likes to play. Is you really slow play it, good sneak in. If you can quietly get in range of the Reaver with a siege tank and not in range of its shot, it's so powerful. So I think Terran can't be stopped from getting this third base. We're going to go into a macro game. The third base here, it's pretty hard to break. I mean, you've got a bridge over here, but Terran can basically daisy chain these tanks together, and they're all just going to cover each other in a way that's going to be very tough to kind of get away with anything. Dragoons and Zealots are coming down. Templar Archives. Okay, this is big. Motive has a lot of shuttles. He might try to break this. I don't know that he can. I really don't. This is actually a pretty tough call. All right, let's find out. He's going to move in now. He's unloading. He's mostly unloading onto the low ground. He does get the Reaver over here onto the high ground. This was a horrible attack here by Motive. Basically, once the Zealots are gone, you got to turn around. But, you know, a really late base like that, that's really tough to ever deny. I think it's better to just get a fifth and maybe even a sixth base up here. So now I'm a little bit more worried here about what exactly Protoss can do. You have to be really careful to not throw units away like that. We don't have Arbiter Tech. Instead, we're going to be going for Psystorm. And I got to say, Best is looking pretty good. He's got +1 attack. Both the armories are going. He's about to have 2-1. I don't know if he'll move out on 2-1 or if he wants to go to 2-3. And, you know, we need probably some more gateways over here up in the top left main. Ideally, something down here to kind of take control of this area as well. More shuttles have been made. Vultures are out on the map, continuing to move around. And, you know, you got to be careful. Like, this many Vultures, you can just ignore the cannons and kill almost all the workers. And he's going to send a second wave out here as well. Let's see how on top of it Motive is. Well, he's actually not committing into the main, so a lost opportunity there. Always easier for me to say since we can, you know, see everything here. But so Protoss is continuing to macro up. We're getting shuttles filled up with High Templars. And this is one of the more modern ways to play. By the way, that big shuttle drop, it might have been better to just try to fly into the main over here and unload in this location. Sometimes that serves the player a lot better. I'm talking about that attack from much earlier. So he's going to do a storm drop. Now, keep in mind, Terran only has 3 expansions. SCVs are fairly tanky as long as they can get out of the storm in time. But that was pretty huge, man. That was really impressive. So, yeah, 1 or 2 storm drops onto one of these locations right here is massive because, you know, there's just not the kind of spread like Protoss has, for instance, where, you know, you're up on, in this game, 4 resource locations. So, really nicely done. The 5th base is being taken. Maybe not the safest spot to take. This probably would have been better, or here, or even here. Since you know that eventually Terran's going to move out. And in games like this, a lot of times the Protoss has to rely on counterattacks. For upgrades for the Protoss, it's actually kind of bad. It's 2-1's going to be done soon here. Terran is about to get 3-3. It looks like the sequence was a little bit staggered. It wasn't immediate. So he's chasing these Vultures around the map. And we're finally getting these gateways that we need to have up here. Usually a game that the Protoss can win, almost assuredly, is one where they can get all 3 of the mains. So obviously you start out with one here, but if you can just secure the other ones, like we're seeing here, it's pretty huge. The vultures are going to come in. They're going to completely ignore the dragoons. These probes need to be evacuated. They're pulled up into the gas. The vultures then dive in. He's going to try to pull them back again down to the bottom patch, just trying to buy a little bit of time for the vultures to have to travel. It leaves only 5 probes behind. As far as supplies go, Protoss is almost maxed out. Basically 1 gateway round, not even that. Half of a gateway round away from being okay. When you see this style where there's basically only about a dozen dragoons on the map, and then everything else is going to be zealots, like we're seeing over here, you're setting up for a pretty good bust and a pretty good rinse and repeat. And I think we might be getting to the actual climax of this game because Terran's unsieged. Terran does not have 3-3 yet, but, you know, how much longer can you wait? He's going to move in here. Now, there's a lot of spider mines. Whoops. So he has to back up. You need to get the rest of the army down here. We've got shuttles with Templars ready to go. And the Protoss has to be very careful to not overextend, as does the Terran. You need to make absolutely sure that when you're hitting, you're doing real damage, and the moment that that damage starts to dissipate, you got to get back out. The easiest way to read that for the Protoss is to know when exactly the Zealots are going to be gone. Okay, he's just like... I'm actually pretty perplexed by this. It looks like what Motive's trying to do. By the way, this is where you get to the real nitty-gritty of each matchup. He's trying to storm and do damage and storm and get away, and Best is just handling it so well. Another push is going to come out over here. That's a lot of misses onto the high ground there. And the only way that you can survive this is with a ton of storms. But even then, I just think that Terran can basically advance over here towards the top right and probably start to case in. Oh, hold on. There's nothing covering these tanks. The vultures are going to try to come back. This is a lot. A huge drop comes in here. The Templar spread is insane. He's done a great job. I feel like there's so many more storms that could be casted here, but at the end of the day, it's going to be enough. Motive crushes this position. And I got to say, really beautiful play. That was basically all the tanks that Terran had. And from here, it's just going to be about control. Can you deny a 4th base here for the Terran? Is this a 4th? Oh, he wants to land it, but there's a pylon here. Goliaths are going to come up. With the range that they've got, they can nuke these shuttles really easily. I think that with those upgrades, what is this, 6 Goliaths? I think they can literally one-shot a shuttle, but I'm not 100% sure. So he's trying to storm drop this, but he's kind of fumbling the ball here. Now, Motive is... he's got some serious steep pockets here. What is this? 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 gates over here, plus the 7 over here. So the way you want to try to play this out from here is to just never let yourself get fully surrounded. Always be hitting from the other side. Always be counterattacking, all that stuff. So unsurprisingly, this base is probably going to fall. This is maybe the weakest spot to expand to, but in a game where you got to be moving this fast, you can't really blame the player for just trying to take what they can get. Motive on the run here. He's trying to basically clear this area out behind the push so that he can flank and do all that stuff. When you've got this many Templars, you'll storm pretty much anything. All you're trying to do is whittle down the army, get good trades, all that. Another big setup over here. He's going to try to push up into 12 o'clock. Are these loaded? He's going to unload these tanks over here. This is a really good push coming up. The siege tanks, again, their shots a lot of times will spread onto the other siege tanks if zealots are involved. Kind of a whiff storm over there, but the final storm that's going to come down is going to be able to kill that last tank, and that's going to dislodge the position Terran had fought so hard to get into. Meanwhile, we've got more vultures coming up here again, and you know, Best is doing a pretty good job. It doesn't seem like he really remade SCVs after that storm drop earlier on. But he does seem to be losing his foothold here. Protoss is basically fighting back. Well, hold on. I say that, but now we've got 6 tanks coming up here as well. The problem right now for the Terran is that although Protoss hasn't expanded down here, you're still basically able to just bombard these positions. Like, this is a really bad spot. One storm, well, he doesn't get it, but you know what I'm saying. He's not able to quite make any headway here. And now we've got a Reaver drop over here. Oh my God, this is huge. The Scarab shots connect really nicely. The tanks are going to siege up, but he can always just try to nudge these Reavers over to the side. Keep in mind that this is almost mined out. Basically mined out. So this is the only thing that's left. Now, TERRAN is actually pushing in up here. This space and these probes are going to be killed off. That's going to leave this space up here at the top left. Along with the natural is the only viable expansions, but the natural only has about minutes left in this game. I love what we're seeing here from Motive. He's just going to try to make the TERRAN do as much work as possible to get back into this. Does he notice and pick this Reaver up? Ooh! Okay, he can probably just drop it right over there. Just like that, and just keep doing damage. Another big, nice drop over here. And look, he keeps the Nexus alive. Having the Observer here to spot is really handy. Looks like the next tank is just close enough that he can't do anything. He should really make a wall of turrets over here, because this is the TERRAN's Achilles heel. Especially when you get a lot of shuttles. You can basically force positions. And that's exactly what we're about to see happen over here. If Best loses this spot over, excuse me, if Best loses this spot here, I think the game is basically done. This base is going to mine out over here. And the TERRAN's income has been slowed down. It's very difficult to have all of these factories making, right? Especially with only 42 SCVs. And this is actually a pretty naked position. I only just now noticed this. There's just like literally no tanks over here. And that's partially because TERRAN was so busy either pushing or defending the 3 o'clock position on the map. And now, I gotta say, this is looking really bad here for the TERRAN, because there's nothing to stop these Dragoons and Zealots just down here at the bottom from getting closer and closer to the command center. He's gonna do a storm drop here. Oh my God. Huge play there. I'm surprised he doesn't go in for more. Meanwhile, this base is still safe. Mostly mines and 2 turrets and 2 tanks. Protoss continuing to grow. I'm not saying that TERRAN's dead, but it's looking like a hard game to win. There's still so much of the map over here to try to capture. And the fact that 6 o'clock hasn't been... Oh, hold on. Huge drop over here. So again, the SCV count is getting drastically shut down. We have SCVs being remade over here at the command center. Yeah, this is where you'll just storm anything that gets close to you. You're just trying to kill off any units. You know that TERRAN... Look, TERRAN's never going to have this spot. So if you just keep storming, killing stuff off, trading out for whatever you can get, you're going to be okay long term. Mass production over here for Motive. And we've got another push down here. Just when it seems like TERRAN might be on their feet, Protoss moves down again, trying to look for any kind of position, any kind of opening. You know, these tanks back here have been forced down, but this could be actually a pretty vulnerable spot right over here. See, when you get this many Goliaths, the shuttles just disappear. Maybe this is a better move to put Goliaths here instead of spending all your minerals on turrets. Speaking of minerals, look at how slowly Best's minerals are moving up. I mean, Motives is going just a little bit quicker here. They're both obviously spending in real time, but, you know, you can feel the weight of the storm drops in the game. There's only 32 SCVs. Motive's a little bit shy of where he should be. You kind of want about like maybe 65, 67 probes, somewhere in there, especially when you've got this many bases on the map. And it looks like he's going to try to come in and hammer him again. Here we go once more. And he's got 2 Templars out. And oh my God, he almost gets every single SCV. There's 15 SCVs in this game. Templars trying to dive into the mines. Meanwhile, Vultures come up here to kill these probes, but how on earth can Best ever balance this out? I mean, 15 workers total. That's including like an SCV mining and the depleted guys who are in the main. Oh my God, it's just brutal. Motive seems so close to closing this out. I just don't know what Best can do other than run the clock, try to endure the damage without getting enough damage in that you're going to be, you know, eliminated. Once again, Motive nearly maxed out. 2 observers in this control group of the Dragoons. Roaming with the Templars, so many shuttles in play. Are they full? Yes, they are. Mostly full, I should say. Best sieges up his tanks. He's very good at the matchup despite off racing. The only problem is it's very, you know, you can tell a really good Terran when they're able to spread their tanks out. This is exactly what you want when you've got Psystorm. You're just looking for an opportunity. He's going to continue to try to snake the tanks up here. And, you know, Motive, he's got the right idea. He's just staying back. He's being patient. He's trying to create pressure, imbalances. Best responds by having some tanks momentarily go down here. Okay, we're going to have another attack in. There's only 18 SCVs, guys. Is he making more SCVs? He's not. And that means there's going to be... Oh, he's going to just pull away. I guess he realizes there's nothing down here, so why not just, like, walk in with your Dragoons and save your Psystorms for something later on. Oh, my God. All right, the Dragoons are going to stay down here. Terran's minerals are moving up so slowly. Motive is being extremely patient. Unfortunately, a lot of idle probes over in this part of the map. You know, if Terran doesn't deal with this, man, you will lose this command center. One tank's going to siege up over here and start to pick these Dragoons off. I don't know if Motive's even going to pay attention. The Dragoons frozen in fear. Their little Dragoon mouths just staying open. Control us! That's a bug, by the way. Meanwhile, we've got an attack over here. And he's going to try to push in. Oh, big storms. This is exactly what you're looking for from the Protoss' position. You're just trying to storm as much as possible. D-Matrix is the right response to basically let it soak that. 16 SCVs. This game is dragging on. Protoss fumbles a little bit, though. Terran may have an actual opportunity to move out. If you've played Protoss before, you'll know these games where you actually... You throw so many units into them that suddenly the 3-3, or in this case 2-3 army is looking really scary. By the way, still 1 armor over here for Motive. All right, some more Psystorms are going to come out. You just storm whatever you can get. You're just going for the long-term play. You're just trying to thin them out. Excuse me. Meanwhile, another storm drop comes in here. That's going to put the SCV count, what, to 7? Oh. Meanwhile, these workers are evacuated. Another push up here. You know, don't count Best out just yet, man. This Nexus is going to go. I mean, how many... There's almost nothing here. This is mined out. This is mined out. This is very pushable. I still think Motive probably wins, but we need to keep the possibility of a recovery in our minds here as we watch this. 1 tank and a Wraith protecting this. The Vultures are so high in number, he probably can't drop a Templar on here and get a Storm out in time. Sorry, guys, I keep coughing here. But a push in here. Can the Templar... Perfect Storm over there. Beautifully done. He blankets this. This may be the end of the game. There's only 11 SCVs in this game. Another storm comes down, taking just a few more SCVs out. It's these tanks, though. Over a dozen tanks are continuing to roam the map. Protoss just doesn't quite have what they need to kind of stabilize in this game. And now a push is going to come. Okay, so hold up, guys. There's only 41 probes here, by the way. We've been talking about this, you know, from the Terran's perilous perspective, but, like, there's actually a lot over here, tank-wise. If he takes his base out, the top right might just mine out. This is pretty insane, dude. Oh, my God. And now these probes can't evacuate. So there's at least about 10 probes in there. Hold on a second. Oh, a DT is a good idea. Can he get the mine? Oh, boom. Gets that. He can one-shot these tanks now. Getting 3 tanks or a DT is totally worthwhile. This Nexus is going to fall. These probes can't get out. The shuttles come in, not in time to save the base. Another big drop comes in. No Templars that I see. Instead, it's just Zealots. He can try to stutter step micro the tanks back. The body blocking pretty decent for a second there. He's not able to really get in there to the point where he can kind of shut the tanks down. He does take that base out, though. There's only 1 mining base for Protoss right now. He wants to get the storm off. Is he actually watching? He is. He gets the first storm. The second, the tanks shimmy to the side. A third storm comes down. And now as the tanks are chased back, it's a pretty easy spot to then run in and kill off the remainder of what's over here. He storms again. There could be another one inbound here as well, and that's going to be a GG. Best takes that game. That was a very cool one. It's really fun to see how players play when they're in their off race. And, you know, how good or bad are they in those moments. I mean, when you look at Motive, he was a little shaky in the late game, but when he finally got to where he needed to be, he was really strong. Best is good, but you can see he doesn't quite have that ability to like spread his tanks out when he's, you know, playing on the move. There were a lot of moments where the tanks were all bunched up, and that's really all you need to, as the Protoss, to win the game, is to storm the tanks. If you like this kind of content, again, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll be putting out a video every day. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about these games. Do you mind that the players are off racing or not? I personally find it really interesting. You know, some players, like, you know, Flash or Sulky as an example, can look at just as good as the pros with their other races. Other players, not so much. Also, see this shirt I got here? To lean back so you can see it, but it's a Dota-inspired shirt. We've got a bunch of great merch, mugs, notebooks, shirts, hoodies over at tastelessthreads.com, so check that out for me. And I hope to see you in a future video. Bye-bye.